One night it was in Los Angeles. Folks, the Philadelphia Eagles, in true cardiac bird fashion, spotted the Rams' 2 quarters of hope before slamming the door in the second half, walking away with a 33-26 victory. But the scoreboard isn't the whole story. Oh no, this game sparked something much bigger. It set off a conversation inside the Eagles' locker room that could define the direction of this season. Because after the final whistle blew, quarterback Jalen Hurts and star wide receiver A.J. Brown weren't shy. They both dropped some pretty eye-opening comments about the team's offense playing, in their words, a little too conservative. Now, think about that for a second. You got Jalen Hurts, the guy who nearly carried this team to a second Lombardi trophy just a couple years ago, saying the Birds basically did the first half to themselves, only managing a single touchdown before halftime. And then you got A.J. Brown, the playmaker, the bulldozer in cleats, making it crystal clear, the Eagles have way too many weapons to play cautious. He said, and I quote, "Let your killers do their thing. Play fast. Play aggressive." That's not a small critique. That's a rallying cry. And when your offensive stars are putting that message out there, you know the coaching staff has to respond. And respond they did. Offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo faced the questions on Tuesday, and he didn't dodge. He actually leaned right into it. According to Patullo, attack was literally the word of the week leading up to the Rams game. He reminded reporters they went for it on 4th down right out of the gate. They pushed the ball into the red zone early, and they wanted to be aggressive from the start. But football, as we know, has a funny way of humbling even the best laid plans. The Eagles stalled in that first half, got bogged down in tough field position, and didn't really hit their stride until the second half. And when they did, wow, it was like watching a completely different team. Suddenly Hurts was firing darts across the field. A.J. Brown was bullying defensive backs, and Devonta Smith looked like a gazelle sprinting out of the slot. The offensive line, anchored by the ageless Jason Kelce and the dominant Jordan Mailata, gave Hurts the time he needed to cook. And once the ball started moving, you could feel that Lincoln Financial Field energy. Even though they were in California, traveling with the team, the Eagles played with swagger, and the result was 26 second-half points. Now, let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. Why does this matter? Because this debate, conservative versus aggressive, isn't new in Philly. Eagles fans have lived through eras where coaches dialed it back too much, and it drove the city crazy. Remember the Andy Reid years? Brilliant mind, but often accused of being too predictable in big games. Then Doug Peterson came along and threw Philly special into Super Bowl 52, a play that will live forever in NFL history. That wasn't conservative. That was gutsy. That was Philadelphia. And that's why Hurts and Brown's comments resonate so deeply. They know the DNA of this team and this fan base. Eagles fans don't want safe. They want bold. They want fireworks. They want to hear "Fly, Eagles, fly" after a 60-yard bomb downfield, not after cautious 10-play 3 yards at a time drive. Let's sprinkle in some context here. In the past 3 seasons, the Eagles ranked near the top of the league in rushing efficiency, thanks in part to that monster offensive line and Hurts' dual threat ability. But this is also a team stacked with receivers: A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert tight end. And they didn't trade for Brown just to run the ball 40 times a game. Last season, Brown racked up over 1,400 receiving yards, shattering franchise records. Smith added more than 1,000. That's not a conservative offense on paper. That's an arsenal that screams air raid. Now, to give you a sense of how fans are reacting, imagine this. A die-hard Eagles supporter leaving the game in L.A., green face paint half smudge, yelling at anyone in earshot. That's what I'm talking about. No more holding back. Let Hurts be Hurts. That's the energy in Philly right now. People want this team to step on the gas and never look back. Even Kevin Patullo admitted that emotions after a game can run high, and Hurts and Brown were probably speaking from that emotional place. But sometimes those emotions cut right to the truth. The players want the leash off. So what's next? The Birds are rolling into Week 4 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's going to be a massive test. Tampa's defense has been stingy, fast linebackers, strong pass rush. But this is exactly the kind of game where the Eagles can prove whether they're still figuring things out or whether they're ready to plant a flag and say, "We're back. We're the team to beat in the NFC." If the offense comes out slow again, expect the noise to get louder. Philly doesn't tolerate caution well, especially in a season where expectations are sky high. But if Hurts finds his rhythm early, if Brown and Smith get those deep shots, if Goddard finally breaks loose in the middle of the field, it could be the type of game that reestablishes the Eagles as the juggernaut of the conference. And let's not forget the historical stakes here. The NFC East is never a cakewalk. The Cowboys are lurking as always, with Micah Parsons wreaking havoc every Sunday. The Giants and Commanders may not look as threatening on paper, but rivalry games are rivalry games. Records go out the window. The Eagles know they need every win they can get if they want home field advantage come January. Here's a little trivia for you. The last time the Eagles started the season 3-0 and then beat Tampa Bay in Week 4, they went on to make the NFC Championship game. History doesn't repeat itself exactly, but it sure does like to rhyme. So, will Kevin Patullo's attack mantra carry over into Tampa? Will Hurts and Brown get the pedal-to-the-metal offense they're demanding? That's the storyline to watch. To close things out, let me say this. The Philadelphia Eagles are still finding their groove, but the foundation is there. A superstar quarterback, elite weapons, a veteran offensive line, and a defense that, while still ironing out a few kinks, can hold its own. Add in the most passionate fan base in football, and you've got a recipe for another thrilling ride. So, buckle up, Eagles Nation. The season's just getting started, and if this team starts clicking the way Hurts and Brown believe it can, the sky's the limit. Don't miss Sunday's showdown with the Buccaneers. It could be the game that tells us exactly who these Eagles are in 2025. And remember, win or lose, Philly fans will always be singing it loud. Fly, Eagles, fly, on the road to victory.